Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 24. So in last episode we had the year 8 off season, and we're up here at the start of year number 9. We've already simulated 9 games, and our team is actually 4-5. So I think this year is probably going to end up being our best year yet. Obviously last year was a good year for the team as we finished with 27 wins compared to our 7 wins the year prior and 8 wins the year before that. So we're starting to win more games, which is exciting. I think it's because we obviously have a lot more younger players in our lineup now, because you can see our full-on pitching rotation is an actual legit rotation almost at this stage. We also have some legit bullpen players. And then in terms of our batting order itself, we have a lot of the younger guys like Yamazaki, for instance, Tom Lee, Kevin Sato, all in the lineup as well. So our depth is definitely a lot better than it has been in the past, because obviously when we started the series, we were running a bunch of like really low overall players, but now we're actually running a bunch of guys that could end up playing in AAA, AA, or the MLB. So it's going to be very exciting just to see what this team does this season. I'm excited for the upcoming draft, of course, but I'm also, I think, a little bit more excited just to see how this team finishes off the year, because I think this might be our best season yet for sure. Like last year, having 27 wins after having only 7 the year before is quite an increase. So I'm feeling like this team could easily get to like the 40-50 wins on the season this year. Because I think what I'm pretty much hoping for, at least, is our pitching basically puts up some good performances, and then hopefully our batters, even though they're lower overalls, hopefully, since a lot of them have good contact hitting and stuff like that, they actually are able to bring in runs. They might not be the flashiest players in the world right now. They will be one day maybe, but I think obviously them having good contact numbers and whatnot, they should be able to produce, which means we should be able to also win games. That is dependent also if our pitching actually is up to snuff or not. So very excited to see what ends up happening with that, and excited to see what this upcoming draft class is looking like, because obviously we have another high up selection in this year's draft. We don't draft until, I think it was 3rd overall, wasn't it? I don't remember where it says. Usually it shows on the screen, I think, right? Oh yeah, there you go. 3rd overall. So unfortunately, we don't have the 1st overall pick, but it isn't a super strong draft for Asian players again, so at least it makes sense for us. If there was a generational Japanese guy, I would be kind of pissed off having the 3rd overall pick, because the more than likely we wouldn't get him, but hopefully in a future draft we could get somebody that could basically be like our captain in a sense for the infield in terms of like batting and all that, because right now we're just a bunch of misfits. Right now we obviously have some really good pitchers, but we don't have a very stud to like number one guy that could hit a lot. We do have some guys like Tom Lee, for instance, who won Rookie of the Year last year, so I'm excited to see what he could do in his second season. He's up to a 75 overall already, so he might end up being that guy for us, but it depends on how long it takes him to develop into being a number 1 guy. But anyways, let's get into your guys' comments down, see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we will get into simulating more of the season and seeing what the year 9 draft class is all about. So the first 3 comments are from Nick Bucker Barons OC. The first one says, Tom Lee started as a D potential, which I thought he started as a low end C, but I guess he started as a D potential, which is pretty damn insane considering he just won Rookie of the Year last season. We will show you guys also, you can see his potential has been raised based on what Nick's next few comments are like, which I'll get to in a second, but his potential is now up to an A potential all the way from D, so he has been progressing very well, and hopefully he continues on that trajectory, because obviously, like, if he continues to have great years after that rookie season, he could end up being one of the best steals that we've ever had in a franchise mode. Nick also says, Major League Stock Watch, +5 Ozzie Cardenas Award, Tom Lee, Rookie of the Year, baby, and Tom Koo, Stan Nguyen. And then he says +3 Leonard Sato, Kevin Sato, Brian Chu, Michael Wong, +1 Hideki Takayashi, and then nobody on the minus front. So a lot of positives in the MLB, which is exciting. Leonard Sato getting a +3 as well is really nice, because you can see he's also up to A potential, which is great, considering I think he started as a C potential, if I'm not mistaken. So he got some potential boost. A lot of other guys got some boost as well. Nobody really jumped up in potential other than Tom Lee and Kevin Sato, I think it was. Maybe, no, Tom Koo didn't yet, but Tom Koo is definitely getting closer to being an A potential player, which is also very exciting. And then he gives me his minor league stock watch, which he says +5 Nobody, +3 Tadahito Taguchi, Richard Chen, Walter and Austin Choi, Tom An, Tommy Wong, Vincent Tan, Ken Irabu, David Lim, Hiroyuki Yamada, +1 for Eric Yamashita, Yamamoto, Wanyang Chang, Charles Nakamura, and Raymond Park. -1 to Mark Taguchi, Akio Yamamoto, and Robert Yabu, and a -3 to David Na. 3 years and not 1 year has he played up to his potential. So some guys dropped off a little bit in potential. David Nall was one of them. Even though he's off to a great start this year in the MLB, he has dropped back down from a B potential to a C potential just because of that -3. So hopefully he can get back to a B potential for next season. But right now he's on pace to definitely get a boost if he continues to have his first rookie season being this good. So expecting David Nall to maybe go back up into B potential relatively soon. And like nobody else, I think, dropped off in actual potential or grew in potential in terms of guys in the system, but at least we are getting guys overalls up there and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see how these guys continue to develop. The next comment is from Xavi Ronaldo, who says 1051, so he tagged me at a certain timestamp. He says 1051, another tip mate, when giving long contracts, set the salary on just 1 year, then change the duration. Just be careful because when you set it to 1 year, it resets the front/backloaded and options settings. You need to adjust these again after changing the desired duration. So for when I give out long-term contracts, I just got to try and remember that. I knew that I took a while when I was scrolling through it last time, but apparently there's a lot easier ways to get through that. So I just have to basically go to where he's interested, I guess, on a 1 year deal, and then change the duration all the way up to 8 years, and I'll keep it as an interested meter, and then we can adjust it accordingly. And then we have to make sure to send it to front or backloaded because it'll readjust that. So yeah, I'll try and remember to do that for the next off season. The next comment is from Dylan Burrows, who says, my prediction, 45 wins this season. So he's saying 45 wins, which I think is definitely attainable considering the jump up we had from last season, from the year prior. So I think, yeah, 45 wins is easily attainable. Will this team finish with 45 wins? I guess it depends on probably the injuries that we get, because we know this game likes to give a lot of injuries. Hopefully we do not get anything huge in terms of that makes our team drop off a lot. I'd prefer a prospect getting injured that's not on the MLB team than one that is on the MLB team. And the last and final comment is from Helix Gaming COD, who says, also don't worry about drafting pitchers in the first few rounds. Go for infield. You'll just find good pitchers in the back half of the draft. So he's saying to don't worry about pitchers till later in the draft, which obviously with our limitations of only Asians, it might be a little bit tough to find pitchers in later stages of the draft, but I do understand what he's getting from. We do have a lot of pitchers at the moment too, so obviously infielding is kind of the number one target with this team at the moment, but I think that is good. So now that we are done that, I think we're ready to start scouting out the upcoming draft class. Now, for the first priority, we are obviously not going to be doing discovery because as of last episode or 2 episodes ago, you guys were saying that probably put that as the number 3 option. So we are going to have this guy, Samuel Lamb, being in the number 3 priority spot. But Alicia Holcomb will be doing positional players, I guess, individually. And then Luis Chavez will be doing pitchers individually. So that's what we'll do. And yeah, we'll sign Holcomb, I guess, as the first priority because infielding is obviously the top priority at the moment. I believe there was a third baseman, and he was the highest infielder to go. It was Jeffrey Saito. He's the best infielding prospect that we could potentially draft in the series, so we are definitely going to add him as our top priority for now. Obviously, he's not going to be necessarily our first round pick, but we do want to get that interest up there as much as possible. And then for Luis Chavez, the first person he's going to be scouting out is probably going to be that closer, and then he's going to eventually start out scouting that starting pitcher as well. But the closer is the highest projected Asian, which is Vincent Chang, so we're going to get him scouted out as well. Maybe I should actually put him as top priority, considering he's probably going to be our first round pick, and we want to make sure our first rounders sign with us. But then again, if Saito's a second or third round pick, his interest should be important too, so... And we'll keep it like that for now. That should be okay. And then we will discover some new prospects. We'll go to infielders, and we'll start at internationally. We have 14 weeks. I don't know if I want to scout any of USA areas as well. Technically, I could do infields, in international, and all those other the 4 regions total for maybe about 2 weeks apiece at this rate. And then I would change it to outfielders internationally for 2 weeks, or maybe we just keep it on infield. I guess it depends on how much we discover in the first week. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that for now. But let's see if we could discover some new talent, and let's see how this team simulates, because I'm actually really excited just to see what this team's going to do at the MLB level. Also, hopefully my face in the corner doesn't look completely overexposed. I don't know if it's just because this game is bright, but holy crap, my face looks kind of a little bit overexposed, but it's all right. Let's see if our team can continue to get off to a good start to the season and win some more games during this week. Let's see what we got here. Tom Cho is back. That's good news. Let me go auto-utilize on that. He's one of the prospects in the system at the moment. Looks like we're on a little bit of a rough stretch. As Russell Lim has been injured. At least he's not in the MLB, but that's still a major injury to one of our prospects, as he's out for 2 to 3 months as he has broken his hand. I feel like none of the guys we're drafting are healthy at all at most times, which kind of sucks. We need a valid lineup in AA. Okay, let's get that set up. So that spot was in first base, was it? Yeah, first base. So at least we have some extra first basemen to throw into those spots, but that's kind of annoying to lose a top prospect like that within the early stages of the season. So we'll put Almanza in both those spots for now. But our team is definitely dropping off here as of late. We did win a lot of games early in the season. You can see we won 3 games early into the first 4, but since then we've definitely dropped off a lot. Hopefully we do a little bit better here, and there's 2 more wins, okay? Asking you shall receive. So we beat the White Sox for our 5th win, and we beat the Angels again for our 6th win. We are 6-10, and we are not in last place in our division. We are actually the 3rd best team right now in the AL West, which is kind of surprising. Rangers are the only team above 500 at the moment. All right, so Vincent Chang so far, how is he looking after 1 week of simulating? He's looking pretty good. He has actually a pretty wide overall gap too, 53 to 80. He could be an 80 overall, which is kind of nuts. So definitely keep getting him scouted out. And Saito's looking okay so far too. More of a defensive third baseman with his arm strength and accuracy. He does have some okay contact hitting. It's looking like he's definitely going to be more of a defensive third baseman if we do draft him. And we did discover 3 new infielding prospects internationally, which is a great start. What did we discover? So Willie Leon, who's from Dominican Republic, so unfortunately we cannot draft him. Joaquim Ramirez from Puerto Rico, unfortunately we cannot draft him. And David Tejada, unfortunately we cannot draft him because he's from Venezuela. So unfortunately those guys are not draft eligible. We'll probably just keep it on there for now for the next week as well until we stop discovering players. Let's go another week and see if we could get some more wins under our belt. And looks like it's a tough week for this team as Taguchi has been injured. He will be out for a little bit, only with some bruised ribs. And Russell Lim auto on that. And we lose every game that week, so that kind of sucks. We have dropped to 6-16, and now we are the worst team in our division. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a streaky team. We should be able to win more games than usual, but we're also going to have still those tough stretches for sure, because we're definitely still learning a little bit at this MLB level. Okay, so Vincent Chang so far, looking pretty good as a closer. 55 to 75 overall at 75% scouted, 71 to 91 potential, so we don't know for sure if he's an A potential closer, but I think he would be still good to give us some depth at the closing pitching department. Saito, still definitely looking like a good defensive third baseman. Not going to be the highest potential in the world, but that arm strength and accuracy is very nice. But he's definitely not much of a contact hitting kind of guy anymore. So he might be the type of guy that we would want to draft just for more defensive infielders, in a sense. So Jeffrey Saito is okay. And we discovered a new player, which is Kevin Pena from Nicaragua. I didn't even realize Nicaragua was in this game for a country. So shout out to Kevin Pena. But unfortunately, we cannot draft you. We'll keep it there for 1 more week, I think. Or should I change it already? I feel like internationally is the most important thing. So maybe we'll do 3 weeks for international on both of them. And in the other regions, maybe we'll do for much less. Yeah, let's do 1 more week with international infield. Kind of surprised we haven't got these guys 100% scouted yet. But let's go 1 more week before we change things up a little bit. Taguchi is back. Let's go auto on that. He should be thrown right back into the lineup. As we won 10-0 and 6-1 in our last 2 games. That's pretty impressive. We beat a team way above 500, 10-0. Parker Iwamura, did he get a complete game shutout? It looks like maybe. He gave up 7 hits if he was the complete pitcher. Let's see down here. He did 7 innings. That's pretty impressive. 7 innings, only 6 hits, and then Eric Yamamoto came in to close out the rest of the game. Not bad. Not bad. Good, nice shutout for the team, and a 6-1 win right after that to San Diego, who's below 500 at the moment. Let me take a look at some stats on this one. Walter Jung pitched 6 innings, and then Sato came in. We have so many players with the same last name almost that it's very confusing. That's one thing that I've realized about doing this type of mode. All right, so let's go back to scouting here. Vincent Chang at 100% scouted is definitely, I'd say, my top 10 priority right now. Our scouts have him as the 10th best prospect in this draft at the moment. And his hits per 9, his strikeouts per 9, walks per 9, obviously all really good. Doesn't have any weakness except for the stamina, but obviously being a closer, you don't need to have stamina. So he's looking like a prototypical closer, and I do not mind that whatsoever. And then Saito is definitely still looking like that defensive third baseman. A little bit worse in arm strength and accuracy than we last saw, but he's definitely still will be probably a decent player to take. He's not going to have the highest ceiling in the world, but he could definitely outgrow it if need be. And we didn't discover any new infielding prospects, so we are going to change this to infield or international outfield, and then eventually we'll go through the other regions like the West, the East, and the Central to see if there's any Asian Americans out there. So let's change out Chang here, and let's see if we could find the other Asian guy. There was another Asian starting pitcher, I remember, but I don't know what his name was, so let's find him. Oh yeah, David Chu, the potentially 99 guy. So we'll see if he's actually better to take in the first round. And then in terms of infielders that were Asian, there was not a lot else other than that third baseman, so we're going to have to scroll through this and see if there was anybody else that we could potentially take. I was looking in between episodes again just to see if there was any guys that had like white names that were Asian, and unfortunately did not seem like it. So that kind of sucks. Let's see, anybody that I could take here. Walter Lee is a relief pitcher. We could always just scout out anybody at this point. You know what, let's get Walter Lee scouted out as well. Him and David Chu. I don't really care if it's an infielder or not, because there's not really enough infielders in this draft class at the moment. Like, if we discover some, obviously we'll scout out them. But right now, we are just not finding enough of them. So, I don't think there was anybody that was supposed to go in the later stages of this draft. I will double check here. Go through each position here, just to make sure I'm not missing out anybody. Yeah, Saito might be like one of the only infielders we could take in this draft class. Vince Venable. See on second base. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot, so unfortunately we're gonna have to probably wait until our Discovery Scout finds more to actually scout more infielders. Oh, there's a first baseman in Morai. We should probably get him scouted out, so let's do that instead. Walter Lee will get scouted out eventually, but let's get Morai scouted out, considering he's another infielder. There's also David Key too, but he's not looking as good. I mean, Morai doesn't look super good either, but all right. Let's see if there's any good outfielders in this draft that maybe we could draft that are Asian, because that would be nice. Robert Yabu's been injured for a few days. Let's go auto on that. Reader is back. Let's go auto on that. We got 2 more wins. Wow, 2 more wins and another 2 shutouts. Wow, this team's doing some really good defensive games at times. 2-0 shutout against Kansas City, and then we also shutouted Houston 6-0. So we have 3 shutouts in our last week of baseball pretty much. And we also had another game that was almost close to being a shutout. That's really impressive. Let me take a look at that game against Kansas City. We only gave up 2 hits the entire game, so almost a no-hitter, too. That's pretty impressive. And Matsui pitched all 9 innings with only 2 hits. Look at his ERA as well. He's 1-3, but Robert Matsui might be having a really good rookie season so far. And then Walter Jung getting the shutout in the other one. Did he pitch all 9 innings? We gave up only 5 hits in that game. And Walter was in for 8 innings before Tom Koo came in and closed it out. Wow, our pitching is definitely really, really surprising me this year. I really like that. Really, really like that. We have one more game to simulate through, and it's a 10-7 win. This team is now 11-22. So we've won half of as much games as we've lost, but still, this is a very good start for this team based on the quality of our roster. Like, our roster is going to get only better from here on out, too. So I am very, very happy with so far how this team is simulated. As, yeah, Morai's looking pretty bad. He's going to maybe be an okay contact kind of guy for low overall, which means maybe outgrowing that potential. So I don't mind Charles Morai. I think we did scout him out last year too, though. And so far, David Chu is looking like a pretty good starting pitcher. I would probably prefer the closer still so far over him, though. I think I'm going to take Morai off this list because I don't think he's worth scouting out right now. And let's put in the other first baseman, maybe. Is there any catchers? Oh, yeah, we should maybe look at Asian catchers, too, if there's any out there. But I don't know if there really is. And we already have a lot of catchers, too, so maybe not. Oh, David Koo. Did we just discover this guy? Because I don't remember seeing him. Maybe I did remember seeing him. Let's get him scouted out as well. Because we definitely should check and see if he's actually that good. Did not discover anybody during that week, apparently. Let's continue to keep it there, though, just in case. Because it seems like Discovery just does not work well in the series so far. So maybe we don't want to do Discovery next year. But let's simulate another week, see how we do. Hey, back-to-back wins in that week against Toronto and against Minnesota. Wow. This team is 13-26. We're definitely going to have, I think, our best season yet this year. Because we're definitely on pace to have pretty much half as much wins as losses. So technically if there's 164 games, was there? We might get like 80-something wins at this rate. I think it's 164 games. Maybe it's 162. I don't remember exactly how much the MLB season has, but off to an okay start. David Chu is still looking pretty good. I don't know. Our scouts have him at their 10th best prospect still too. I don't know who would be the one that would more than likely fall, the closer or the starting pitcher. I feel like we would rather take the closer too in the first round just because of the fact we don't have a lot of closers. So, And so far, Koo is looking okay at 40% scouted. Definitely has good arm strength. Like he's a defensive catcher, but I don't know if I would draft him or not yet. In terms of players that we discovered one more player, which is Andres Castro, which unfortunately is from Cuba. And that sucks. Yeah, we'll go one more week on that part, and then we'll probably change it up in terms of like West and such like that for 2 weeks at each if we possibly can, which I don't even know if we can, but let's continue to scout out here. There's another win during that week. 2 more wins. We have another 2 shutouts. Holy crap, man. We might actually lead the league in shutouts. That's insane. What the hell is going on with the pitching? Damn. And a 2-1 win over Texas there as well. So we almost had 3 shutouts during that week. Our team is very good defensively in terms of pitching, which means basically if we start to get our run support too, we're going to win a lot more games. Because you can see some of these games we lost like 4-3, 5-3 loss. Like if we get that run support, we're going to be really good. Let's take a look at these shutout wins as well, because who knows if somebody's got a no-hitter, because that would be pretty amazing. 8-7 to hit, so definitely not a no-hitter, but who was pitching? Robert Matsui, 6 innings, and Strong came in, Perez came in, Yamamoto, and then Chung closed it out. All right. And then this one against St. Louis was another 2-0 win, so we shut them out 2 times in a row, which is pretty amazing. As Parker Iwamura getting the win, only giving up 7 hits as well, just like the prior game. And he pitched 8 innings before Tom Koo came in and closed it out. Wow. All right. Well, this team is definitely doing well. 16-30. Obviously, it's still not a fantastic record by any stretch, but by comparison to other years, we are definitely going to break that 27 wins, I think. So Chu right now at 100% scouted, still looking pretty good, but obviously I think I might lean towards the closer rather than him, but there's a higher chance that the closer might fall to the next round rather than the starting pitcher, in my opinion, but I still might want to reach and grab that closer instead of David Chu. In terms of David Koo, it's kind of funny. There's David Koo and David Chu. David Koo is looking okay as a catcher still. Might be a B potential kind of guy. Definitely more defensive, like I was saying. Good arm strength especially. And also his accuracy is solid. Fielding's not bad. But his hitting is not really what you would expect from an offensive catcher. So he's definitely more defensively minded. We did discover a new outfielding prospect. So let's see if he's anybody we could draft. No, he's not. He might actually be a really good player, but unfortunately he's from Puerto Rico. Raul Maldonado. So we'll probably change this over now, and we will go, let's go infielding, and let's change this to West. because I feel like there's a lot more Asian players in California than there is probably in like Kansas or something like that. So let's do that. We'll take out Chu, and we will put in that relief pitcher we were looking at, which was Walter Lee. Let's get him scouted out as well, and we'll see if he's intriguing. Hopefully we can find some more players with the discovery option, because it does not seem to be working well for me at the moment. So maybe next season we don't really do discovery. Maybe we just try and hone it out a bit. Like, I don't know exactly what we need to do to get it to work. Maybe we need a better scout in that area, because they just don't discover a lot. Let's go auto on that, because that doesn't matter too much. Auto again. There's another win during the week, but that was our only win as a 5-4 win over Seattle. We did get shut out of our own 12-0 to Texas. So, yeah, Texas is looking pretty good. Huh. Okay. Let's scout out some more stuff. So, Walter Lee so far, yeah, he's looking okay. He's actually looking like he might be a really good reliever for a 23-year-old. Like, he would be good to add, I guess, to our bullpen, so to speak. But as a late-round steal, I think he would be pretty good. Based on the home runs per 9, the walks per 9 right now, the hits per 9. Like, yeah, he should be a high overall. Maybe not the highest potential in the world, but he could definitely outgrow it, just like a lot of our other closers have. So Walter Lee's not bad, but I would not take him definitely in the first round. But he could be like a second/third round steal if we want to. In terms of David Koo, yeah, he's definitely kind of average. He might be below average even, but he's not supposed to get drafted yet, so he might not even be in this draft class, unfortunately. So, And then we also did discover a new prospect, which is Julius Carter, who's from California. Unfortunately, he's white, but yeah, we can't draft him. All right, let's change out Koo, and let's go see what else there is. What else is there that we could actually draft? Let's go through the back half of this draft class, because maybe we'll find somebody there. Maybe we'll find somebody there we could actually scout out. I don't think there was really much else for infielders, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're going to really find much else, to be honest, which kind of sucks. I hope this draft class still has some more guys that we haven't found yet, but I feel like this is another one of those draft classes that are just going to have a couple prospects only for us to pick, because it definitely, like, it looked good early on when we looked at it last episode, but then it just completely dropped off afterwards. Might as well get David Key scouted out, even though he's not that good. There's not really anybody else worth scouting at the moment, so we'll probably get the interest also higher on a lot of the prospects that we already scouted out if we want to, just because it seems like a bit of a barren draft class for us, as we win 4 games during that week. So we are now 21-38. There's a realistic chance we might not end up being the worst team in baseball, but we probably still will be. But we have definitely done a lot better than anticipated. 9-3 wins, so the offense showed up there. 4-2 win there. Then a 2-1 win over Houston, so almost another shutout. And then an 8-6 win over Cleveland. Wow. Yeah, I'm still really impressed with this baseball team right now. It's going to be very interesting to look at the stats at the end of the season, I think. And also at the end of this episode, so. Walter Lee, yeah, he's looking good. He's looking good. 77-82 potential and a high overall, 64-69. Like, he might not be the highest potential in the world, but he's going to have a good starting overall. He is 23, but I think I would definitely take him at some stage if we can. Not in the first round, though, for sure. And then David Key so far is looking pretty damn bad. So, I don't even know if he's worth scouting out any longer. Let's just see if there's anything else we could find here, as it seems like we're not finding anything so far in terms of infielders. It's probably a lot of pitchers that you did find in Discovery. Like, it's hard to find infielders, it seems like. But let's see if there's anybody else we could scout out here that we have not scouted out so far. But I feel like we've scouted out everybody we can almost. So we might have to just try and get the interest higher on the top prospects that we were looking at before. Because, yeah, this draft class is not very deep. Not yet, at least. If we discover and find one prospect that we could actually draft, obviously we'll scout them out. But, yeah, this class is probably looking just as bad as some of the other ones we've had in the past. Sooner rather than later, we should get a draft that actually benefits us, but right now it doesn't seem like it. Spencer Oshiro, I guess we should get him scouted out because he's not supposed to get drafted yet. So let's get Spencer Oshiro scouted out, even though he's technically a pitcher as well. Let's get him scouted and see if he's actually going to be that good. And is there anybody else we're scouting out? Probably not, but let's see if we could find anybody else here. Yeah, these draft classes have definitely been the worst I've seen in the last like 5 years or so. We haven't had a crazy draft probably in quite a while. But we've had some okay drafts, all things considered, I'd say. But definitely need a good quality draft soon, because or else it's going to set us back a bit in terms of maybe getting this team to being in the playoffs. But I think this team's definitely on the right trajectory with how we're winning games this season and last season. So, is there anybody else I could actually scout out here? Does not seem like it, which means I might have to lean towards scouting out players I've already scouted just to help them get their interest high. Yeah, I think that's going to be the play. Actually, there's a Wong guy, but he's not looking very good. But he is a relief pitcher, and he could have a high overall. So you know what? We'll get Vincent Wong scouted out. Might as well. And we'll see if there's any Asians in the Central America, which I doubt there is. Like, do you know any Asians from places like Kansas? Probably not. Let's see what we got here. Stan Nguyen is out with a shoulder separation. No. That's like the worst injury to Stan ever. Oh, boy. That means his season's almost done, I think, at that point. He will probably be back before the end of the season, but Stan the man will be out for 1 to 2 months. That's not great. Let me go auto on that, and let me just see who is in the pitching rotation instead. That means a big chance for Na and Matsui. I guess I can move Jose Barrios from a long reliever to a starting pitcher since he's a 3 overall. Because everybody else is a reliever on this team. So, man, that is a pretty big injury, though. 2-1, Stan the Man Nguyen. Yeah, I don't like that injury. And Tadahito Taguchi has strained a lat, apparently. Which I know now what a lat is from working out. But let's go auto on that. And, oh my goodness, why are we getting these injuries? At least it's Yabu only, but Yabu has torn his MCL. He's out for over 6 months. That could be a career-ending injury for Robert Yabu. That is dreadful. At least it's not a top prospect. And what is happening with these injuries, man? I hate these injuries. I should just turn injuries off at this point. Walter Cho has fractured his hand, out for 2 to 3 months. So that's an MLB reliever as well. We're definitely going to lose a lot more games now all of a sudden. Let me adjust the lineups. Holy crap, man. Let me see. So Walter Cho is in the MLB. We might need to actually call up a pitcher because of that. Holy crap, man. That injury is... That's not great for any of these guys. Let's see. So we need a... What type of player in this spot? A second baseman. I guess we'll just put... Can Park play second base? He can. Okay, we'll put Raymond Park on second base. I guess that works. And we'll do the same with this position as well. Man, these injuries are dreadful, though. Why are we getting these type of injuries? Like, now let's go to the injury list for a second here. If we go over to this, and injured list, you can see Tadahito Taguchi out 1 to 6 days. It's not bad, but Robert Yabu out 6+ months. Russell Lim still out for 1 to 6 days. Stan Nguyen 1 to 2 months. And then Walter Cho out 2 to 3 months. Like, those 3 long-term injuries all happened within the span of a few days. Wow. Well, that kind of sucks. That's definitely going to make our teams fall off a little bit, I think. Okay, let's go through this day, and now we should be able to scout out some more stuff, so let's do that. Vincent Wong's not looking the best. He might be a high overall, but with very low potential. Like, he might be a 69 overall with 65 potential, my guess. Because his potential range is lower than his overall range. So he's going to be one of those weird guys. So he could be useful still and outgrow that potential, but I don't know. And then we have Spencer Oshiro, who's not looking as good anymore, but he could still end up being a decent steal if he ends up actually getting into the draft, which I hope he does. Because he could be a solid, like, B potential guy. But I don't know if he will be. Definitely need him 100% scouted first. And we did discover a new prospect, Manny Valencia from Ohio. Unfortunately, we cannot draft him. Let's change this over to East, I guess. Yeah, we'll do East next, and then we'll go to the outfielders for a couple weeks as well, if we possibly can. Yeah, this draft class is definitely not going to be super strong, but at least we'll be able to get some good players potentially in it with the first rounder. But These injuries have really slapped us in the face these last few days. And now Kazuhito Hayashi has suffered a blister on his finger. That kind of sucks. Hey, another shutout win at least. We're now 23-48, 11-10 win over Colorado there, and a 1-0 shutout win over the Minnesota Twins. We've gotten a lot of shutouts this year, though. Considering we've only won 23 games, a good chunk of them have been shutout wins, which is kind of crazy. All right. So Vincent Wong still, yeah, he's definitely looking like a weird player. I mean, he could be useful if you guys want me to draft a guaranteed D potential guy, but that could outgrow his potential. Because based on his stats, he looks like he could have some good numbers for being a pretty low potential. So could be a useful guy just for depth. He might be a very late pick that we take like in the 6th round or something. But Vincent Wong looking like that. And Spencer Oshiro, still not looking as good as we are hoping for, but he could still end up being an okay steal if he ends up still getting drafted. Right now, he's not supposed to get drafted, so maybe it's going to take him a couple years before he actually ends up getting into the draft. We did discover 4 new infielding prospects, so hopefully there's an Asian one we could draft. John Hennessy, unfortunately not. Nice beard, though. Raleigh Monk. What kind of name is that? It makes him think of as a monk from, like, Raleigh, North Carolina, but he's from Pennsylvania. We also have Felipe Lugo from North Carolina. Unfortunately, he's not eligible to us. And Sam Schnell, who's unfortunately not draft eligible to us either. At least we're discovering some new prospects. That's a first. We've discovered 4 in a while. Let's get our top prospects back on this list because I don't think there's anybody else that we've not scouted out so far. So let's go back to Vincent Chang, get his interest as high as possible. And we will also do the same with the starting pitcher, just so we can kind of see if their overalls are actually that good and get their interest as high as possible. So that way they actually sign with us guaranteed. Let's actually change this over to outfielders now. And we'll start off in the West, just to see if there's any outfielders, because we do need outfielding help at some point too. So let's go another week, see if we could discover anything during this week, and see if we can win some more games. We'll go auto on those. Leonard Sato has inflamed nerve. We'll go auto on that. That kind of sucks, even though it's a day or two. Man, there's so much friggin' injuries. It's actually kind of frustrating in this game when there's this many injuries. Everybody's in their normal spots. That's good. Don't want to look at player stats yet till the end of this episode. So 2 more wins that week. Walter Cho auto on that. And there we go. So another week done. 25-52. We almost have our best season yet already at this stage, which is awesome. A 10-9 win over Detroit. Philip Chung got credited with the win as the closer. And then the New York Yankees we beat, as well as Parker Iwamura gets another win on the season. All right. So Chang up to 45% interest now. We'll just keep on getting his interest high right now. David Chu's at 34% interest. We'll keep their interest getting higher and higher. Both of them look like they're going to be first-round picks, so we probably can't draft both of them. We might be able to draft both of them, but there's a chance that both of them go in the first round. I still lean towards Chang just because we need closers more than starting pitchers, but I will leave that up to you guys probably. All right, so we didn't discover anything there. Let's go to outfielding central, I guess, now. I don't even really know at this stage. Let's get to our last week of simulating, I think, for this episode. See if we can win any more games. Let's go no on that. No, thank you. We aren't making any trades. Lose every game that week. That kind of sucks. 25-57 now on the year. And getting those interests higher, which is good. Yeah, it definitely looks like Chang's going to be the higher overall, maybe. And then Chu is going to be the lower overall. But both of them are looking like potential top 15 picks. We did discover 3 new outfielding prospects. Watch, one of them is going to be Asian, and we're not going to be able to get enough interest on these guys before the actual draft. So we have Al McCann from Kentucky. Unfortunately, he's not somebody we could draft. We also have Ken Barrett. We can't draft you. And Russell Mize. Unfortunately, we cannot draft you. All right. Let's do one more week of simulation because the draft class doesn't start till after week 14, I think. So we should be able to get through another week of simulating here and see if we could win some more games as well leading up to this. And let's go through these games as well. Tom Lee has also been injured with a strained hamstring. It's only for a few days. And we win one more game at the end of this episode. So 27-62. Let's go to scouting here. These guys are getting more interest, which is good. We did discover one new player, which is Anthony Dolan, who we can't unfortunately draft. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot of Asian talents in this draft class, but basically, this is what our draft has determined for what we could potentially take in this year's draft class. So, Vincent Chang, looking like probably our top pick this year, which is good because it gives us more closer depth, so I'm okay with that. Afterwards, it's the starting pitcher, David Chu. So we'll probably have to choose between the two of them. We probably want to try and get both of them, but obviously David Chu might go first round before we have a chance to draft him if we decide to go with the closer, and vice versa. Next best Asian after that is probably the third baseman, my guess, and then afterwards it's pretty much a major crapshoot. But it depends on if all these guys are actually going to be still in the draft class themselves, because some of them might drop out of the draft class. So wow, that third baseman's not for a while. Actually, the next best is Walter Lee, which I don't mind. Walter Lee is a solid-looking reliever. Good overall, low potential, but you definitely outgrow it. So I would definitely lean towards getting Walter Lee as well as a pick. So that basically we get a closer, a starter, a reliever if we want. And then if we actually want to draft more infielders, because we don't have a lot of infielders, we definitely should lean towards drafting like that third baseman if he's actually still supposed to go. Actually, we did discover another starting pitcher out of nowhere. He wasn't in my discovery list at all, so I don't remember seeing this guy. Tom Chen. Tom Chen definitely should get scouted out. I definitely will put him into the scouting thing, so let's get Tom Chen scouted out just for next episode for 1 week. Unfortunately, I didn't notice him until this point, so I don't know why I'm not getting notified when prospects are potentially guys I could take. Is what it is, though. Let's go back all the way up to here, because we got to go to 125 until we can see the next best prospect after that. So all the way up to here. So now we should be pretty much back where we were. The next best after that. Some of these guys have really funny names. It's probably the third baseman, my guess, if he's actually supposed to get drafted, which I don't see him still. I don't think he would have disappeared, right? No, there he is. Jeffrey Saito, yeah. So Saito could end up being a late round steal for us, even though he's more of a defensive option. So there's Saito. Vincent Wong is not really great. He's a high overall probably, but low potential, so we could still take him and hope that he outgrows that. Like, he could end up being kind of similar to Hiroyuki Yamada, because I'm pretty sure he started as a deep potential high overall. There's also David Koo, the catcher. So there is some options, but it definitely isn't the best draft class once again. So that's pretty much all those guys that could go in the draft. I'll definitely get Tom Chen scouted out for 1 week when we actually get to scouting out some more players for the last week of simulation before the actual draft itself. Final few things we got to do to end this episode. Let's take an updated look at how our team has been doing. We'll start off with taking a look at... let's get rid of these notifications here. Let's start off by looking at team stats here briefly. So if we go to standings... We're scoring 288 runs, which is the lowest in the division. And we've allowed the most as well. We're 9-18 against the division, 14-29 on home field, 13-33 on the road, 15-25 during day games, 12-37 at night. And as a team combined, we have a 234 average, 362 slugging percentage, 292 on base percentage, and 983 fielding, and a 5.29 ERA. All right. What about team rankings and stuff? Are we actually up there in shutouts though? Because we have had a lot of shutouts, so that's what I'm kind of curious on the most. No, we are tied for 13th though, which is actually pretty impressive. So that's that. Let's take a look at some player stats though. Let's start actually by going to AA, just briefly looking over some player stats, and we'll go to AAA and that type of thing as well. So Pete Kuo has been fantastic as a reliever. Yeah, he did start a game as a starter at one point. I did see that in last episode, but 92 strikeouts through 91 innings for a reliever is great. He's got good ERA, good whip, so he's been fantastic. Philip Irabu has also been very good, well over a strikeout an inning, 97 strikeouts through 89.2 innings. Tommy Wong has been also very good. Tom An has been good. A lot of the relievers in AA seem to be doing well. which is very, very good. Yep. And wow, Austin Choi as a closer. Fantastic numbers. 0.87 ERA. Wow. And he's got 13 saves to 3 blown. Let's take a look at AAA. Vincent Chan has been good. Looks like we're getting some good stuff from the guys in the system, which is all you can pretty much ask for. Is Kyo Yamamoto should not be a starter. We'll rather put Reeder as a starter. Maybe that's why Yamamoto's stats are looking so bad, because he started 12 games as a relief pitcher. Had 4 quality starts, though, so you can't blame him. David Lim has not been super good so far. Yamada's been okay, but he's lost all his games. And that's pretty much it for the pitchers in there. Now with the MLB pitchers, Iwamura is up to a 90 overall. A 90 overall, so that's our first player to break 90. He has been fantastic, apparently. 3.7 ERA, 1.22 whip, 5-8 record. He has been very good, Parker, this season. I wonder if anybody's up there for potential awards this season. Walter Jung is 5-7. He's been much better this year than he has been in the past. David Na has also been pretty good winning games. Also has an okay ERA, okay whip for his first season. Robert Matsui has really struggled, apparently. But he is jumping up to the MLB. Is his FIP and stuff like that better than suggested, though? 4 quality starts. FIP of 5.64. Yeah, he definitely is the type of guy that might get the Jung type of thing, where he gets sent right back down to the minors, gets like a little bit of a time to adjust to getting better again. Because I feel like David Na has been much better of the bunch of them. Yeah, 8 out of 17. His FIP is much better, 4.62. You have Walter Jung, who's played 18 games, got 6 quality starts, so not that much. But his FIP rating is definitely actually worse than last season. So Walter actually maybe hasn't been that good. But Parker Iwamura has definitely been our ace. 18 games started and 11 quality starts. And a FIP at 3.06. Parker's been elite. He has been elite so far. So really like that from Parker. And then from our bullpen, Saito, goddammit, is over a strikeout an inning. He looks like he's been okay at times, maybe worse than last year. Yamamoto has been not too bad as well as a 69. Tom Koo has been good. I like to see that. And Philip Chung in his first year as a closer has been a little bit bad as a closer. But he has 16 saves to only 4 blown saves, so that's not bad. And his FIP is pretty high, so maybe he actually hasn't been that good. But a lot of closers have bad first years in the MLB. In terms of batting, quickly, we'll take a look at this as well. Just briefly, so top prospects, so like Russell Lim have batting at 300. Obviously, he was injured for a bit. Bake's batting at 239. We'll probably reorganize our order a little bit next episode again, too. Tom Cho's having a good year, looks like, on a 288. And Walter Choi coming back from injury was batting at 250, okay. AAA, Theodore Lee's been really good so far. Theodore Lee's looking great. He might be Major League bound soon. Oko on a 282 has also been good. So it looks like AAA is having actually a pretty solid year. Like, Nomo's on a 297 average. So some of these guys definitely are getting closer to Major League bound as well. And then in terms of the MLB, Yamazaki's batting at 277 this year, which is fantastic. Sato's on a 264, which is also great. Hashi's on a 309. Okay. Sasaki's on a 187. Chu on a 225. Yokoyama 213. Nishi on a 241. Seo on a 239. And Yu Chang doesn't matter too much, but a 227. Tom Lee, who is just getting back from his injury in the next few days, was batting 234. Does have 13 home runs on the season. Maybe a little bit of a regression year for Tom Lee, but his average has improved, which is good. And was this more positive? No, it's the same as last year. Huh. Okay. And then Michael Wong wasn't doing too well off the bench. Okay. So there is that. Let me take a look at award leaders for fun, too. I know this episode's another long episode. Apologize about that, but let's see if anybody's up there potentially for winning awards for us this season. Not looking like it so far. Vincent Seo is up there for Rookie of the Year, but Easton Solis of the Angels probably will end up getting it because he's winning a lot of games. He's got a good ERA too, so more than likely the Angels guy here in Easton Solis will be the Rookie of the Year, and unfortunately, we won't have probably back-to-back Rookie of the Years. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like anybody's up there for an award for us this season, all things considered. Anything else I wanted to take a look at before I end this episode? Get notifications. Let's take a look at this. See. Top prospects. Vincent Tan is the 7th best prospect in baseball, so that's kind of cool. So shout out to Vincent Tan. William Bake makes his debut at number 20. What else we got here? Charles Nomo at 33. Anything else? Doesn't look like much. So we don't have a lot of prospects in the top 100 anymore. Kazuhira Hayashi's at 79. That's a pretty big gap, though, between prospects and nobody else. Nobody else. What is our team needing the most in this year's draft class, according to the depth chart? I feel like it's got to be, like, more outfielders, almost in a sense. Like, if we go to 2036 or 2035, for instance, our team is looking okay at that point. Obviously, we don't have any stud batters at that point, but it says Nomo could be up to, like, an 85 by that point. Yeah. Yamazaki in 92, maybe by that point. Yeah, the team's definitely coming together, and I can see why we're starting to win games. But obviously, it's going to take a lot of work because we still need to hit a lot more, and we also need more consistent efforts from our pitchers. But I think everything's been trending in the right direction, so looking good so far. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the Year 9 drafts, and we'll see if we're able to get some more good prospects in for our team. And then hopefully with the rest of the season simulation that comes to the episode afterwards, we have our best season yet, because we've already tied our most wins in franchise history with the 27 wins. So we definitely will be able to break that. But the question is, will we be able to hit 40 plus wins? I think it's definitely doable. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.